Radhe Radhe. Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Dandavat Pranam, all beautiful, lovely Vaishnavas.
Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. So, as usual, we'll begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this beautiful bhajan treasure trove, Shri Gauri Gita Gucha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam, calling out for the mercy and grace of all of the Gurus in our Guru Varga, starting with our own Gurudev, going all the way to the original Guru who is Krishna and his Guru of Prem, Srimati Radhika. Radhika Premier Guru, Ami Shishya Natta. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavaścha Shri Rupa Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Satveta Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Nārāyaṇam Tvam Shirashan Namami Danninam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padabhijataika Hridhi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasar Nārayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat अश्रितानञ्चपालिने जीवदुःखे सदरताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवे देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाभ्य श्रीरूपाङ्गभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगम्भिरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तद्वन्द्वहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्पूर्णे पदाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्त्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नमते गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपं मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वं पदाम्बोजं राधामदनं मोहनं दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठार्मि सेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमद्रसरसारोहि वंशिवतस्ततस्थितः कर्षं वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर् गोपीनाथ श्रीयस्तु नः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निनिर्वापनम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावन्जीवनम् आनन्दं विवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मा Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma, page 28 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. If you do not have this, let me see, is Jiva Pavana Prabhu there? Dandava Pranam, he is there. So if you do not have this Bhajan Charchacho, Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha, you can just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and he will have posted the Bhajan along with the translation and commentaries from our Acharyas. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandhu Mui Savadhano Mate Bandhu Savadhano mate bandhu mui savadhano mate bandhu mui savadhano mate jaharo prasade bhai e bhavato riyajai jaharo prasade bhai e bhavato riyajai Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te Guru mukha padmo vakyo chitte te koriya aikyo Guru mukha padmo vakyo chitte te koriya aikyo arna kori ho mane asha riho mane asha arna kori ho mane asha arna kori ho mane asha Shri Guru Charane rati aise uttamagati Shri Guru Charane rati aise uttamagati Je prasade pure sarva asha Je prasade pure sarva asha Je prasade pure sarva asha Je प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जाहा होते अविद्या विनाश जते प्रेम भक्ति जाहा होते अविद्या विनाश जते वेदे गाय जाहारो चरितो वेदे गाय जाहारो चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन ताहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया तू आपदे लइनु शरण तू आपदे लइनु शरण एबे जास खुशु त्रिभुवन एबे जास खुशु त्रिभुवन गुरुदेव पतित पावन गुरुदेव पतित पावन प्रभुपाद पतित पावन प्रभुपाद पतित पावन आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय प्रभुपादो जय प्रभुपादो प्रभुपादो जय प्रभुपादो जय प्रभुपादो जय प्रभुपादो प्रभुपादो जय प्रभुपादो गुरु परंपरा परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा परंपरा गुरु परंपरा श्री गुरुदेव की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय गुरुपाद गुरु वर्ग की जय श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय Question of the moment, and since it's very warm here, it'll have to be something cool like lassi. For a lassi, whatever flavor you like. Are all of the members of our Guru Parampara considered Rupanuga? And I know we've asked this question before, but it's worthwhile to understand. Yes or no? Are all true Rupanugas considered to be within our Guru Parampara? Okay, good. Someone's eager for the lassi. Devaki, was that for part 1 or 2? Radhe Radhe. Oh my God, I asked 2 questions. I should have just asked 1. Now I don't know which answer is for which. Okay. Now I'm getting confused already. Okay. So, all of those who are following Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī in his process of sadhana as sadhakas, and in his process of serving Radha and Krishna within siddha form as siddhas, they are known as Rupanuga. They're following in the Anugatya, or under the guidance of Rupa Gosvāmī. Those who came before Rupa Gosvāmī in sadhak form cannot be considered Rupanuga. Even once upon a time, one devotee who was speaking in front of our Srila Gurudev in Barshana said that Sanatana Gosvāmī is Rupanuga. And Gurudev had his head like this and he said, "What did you just say?" He said, "Sanatana Gosvāmī is Rupanuga." And Gurudev said, "You cannot say that." He said, "But Sanatana Gosvāmī as Lavanga Manjari is serving under the guidance of Rupa Manjari." And Gurudev said, "It may be there, but here in this world, Rupa Gosvāmī sees Sanatan as his guru. So he is Sanatan Anugatya in this case. In other words, if you call Sanatan Rupanuga here in Sadhak Bhav, you are breaching etiquette. Because Rupa Gosvāmī is seeing Sanatan like his guru. So only those who are actually followers of Rupa Gosvāmī in that lineage, they are known as Rupanuga. So all of the gurus who came before him, and also those of other lines, means other sampradayas and also other moods. Sakya bhav, friendship mood; Vatsalya bhav, parental mood; Dasya prema of different kinds; even Gopi bhav, but not in the mood of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika under the guidance of Lalita, in the group of Lalita Sakhi under the guidance of Sri Rupa. They cannot be called Rupanuga. Maybe Raganuga, maybe Ragatmik, but not all are Rupanuga. Very, very clear our Srila Gurudev wanted us to be on this particular point. A difference between Rupanuga and Raganuga. Is that Jiva Pavana Prabhu laughing for all the answers there? Because, yeah, it does look quite confusing, doesn't it? It's good. Excuse me. Getting some slight allergy. Whoa. Hare Krishna. So anyone in our Guru Parampara who came before Rupa Gosvāmī are not Rupanugas. Technically not, but it might be that some of them have come again. This also happens. That some personality manifests more than once and they come in another form and then take initiation in any line. So that's a very rare happenstance, but it does sometimes happen. But generally you would not find it that someone who is Rupa Goswami's guru or grand guru or who came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you cannot call them Rupanuga. But those who are coming in the line of Rupa Goswami, in the line of Narottam Das Thakur, in the line of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the line of Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, all of our gurus in the line of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, those personalities can be called Rupanuga. if they are in fact following the sadhana to attain the mercy under the guidance of Sri Rupa. Yes, Baldev Vidyabhushan is following Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Those who are following, let's say, after any cowherd-boy or after Mother Yashoda, they can be called Raganuga because they are in the Anugatya under the guidance of the Ragatmika Jan. Ragatmika Jan means the eternal associates of the Lord who are serving with pure love in any of the different rasas. So that's the general conception. Within the multitude of Ragatmika or eternal associates of the Lord, all of rasas are there. So you have Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya rasa. All of rasas are there. But then within that there are subcategories. And the subcategory of the greater category known as Ragatmika, or those who are followers of the Ragatmika Jan, in other words, those who are Raganuga, a subcategory of that would be specifically those who are following under the guidance of Sri Rupa. They will be known as Rupanuga. But all of those persons, if someone is aspiring particularly to serve like Mother Yashoda, then that would be Yashodanuga in a sense. They're following in that line, and that would be Raganuga Bhakti, but it wouldn't necessarily be Rupanuga Bhakti. But those who are Rupanugas are also considered Raganugas. I hope that's clear. So now we will call out for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Ki rupe paibo seva mui durachar, page 45 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Ki rupe paibo seva. Ki rupe paibo seva mui duracharo Shri Guru Vaishnaverati na hoilo yamaro Ki rupe paibo seva mui duracharo Shri Guru Vaishnaverati na hoilo yamaro Ashesha mayate magono hoilo Vaishnavete lesho matro ratina janmilo Ashesha mayate magana hoilo Vaishnavete lesho matro ratina janmilo Nishaye bhuliya yandha hoinu diva nishi gole phaso dite phire maya se peshachi Nishaye bhuliya yandha hoinu divani shi gole phaso dite phire maya se pishachi nihare koriya jayo charana na jayo sadhu kripa binayaro nahi ko payo. Ihare koriya jayo, charana na jayo. Sadhu kripa vinayaro, nahi ko payo. Adoshadarshi Prabhu, patita yudharo, ebaro naro tame, korohu nistaro. Adoshadarshi Prabhu, patita yudharo, ebaro naro tame, koroho nistaro. Tirupe paibo seva, uiduracharo, Shri Guru Vaishnaverati, nahoino yamaro. Tirupe paibo seva, uiduracharo, Shri Guru Vaishnaverati, nahoino yamaro. Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Prabhu kripa koro, more doya koro, Prabhu kripa koro, more doya koro, Prabhu kripa koro, more doya koro, Prabhu kripa koro, more doya koro. All Vaishnava Thakurs ki jai. As I was singing these words, I was reading also the meaning of the last verse, Adosha Darashi Prabho Patita Udhar. O Master, you never see the faults of others, and you are the savior of the fallen. So technically, according to Shastra, the nature of the Uttam Bhagavat is that they don't see the faults in others. Rather, they see Krishna's playing through everything, and that everything is perfect as it is. Nindadi Shunyam. In the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita, Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī says they are devoid of the tendency to find fault with or to criticize others. So now there seems to be a conflict of interest, because we, Badha Jivas, require some discrimination from our guides so that we can give up what is unfavorable and accept what is favorable for bhakti. So how do we reconcile this? Our Gurudev, our Acharyas, our Shastras have explained that this Uttam will step into the role of Madhyam Bhagavat for our benefit. And their function is Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. They have praying for the Lord, friendship for like-minded devotees. They give mercy or Kripa to those who are less fortunate than themselves, or in other words, Kanishtas or neophyte devotees. And Upeksha, they neglect those who are against Hari Guru Vaishnava and Bhakti. This is their nature. Why is it required for us to take shelter of that kind of personality? Because we need help. If our guru just pat us on the back and always told us, you're good, we'd be like, but I'm not. I need help. I'm full of so many material desires. I'm full of so much lust and anger and greed and madness and envy and pride. Please help me. So Guru will see where we're at and say, avoid this and accept that. Anukulyasya sankalpa, accept what is favorable for bhakti, and pratikulyasya varjanam, avoid and reject what is unfavorable for the service of Krishna. And so according to our Shastras, according to our Gurudev, according to our Guru Varga, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kadambani, Bhakti Devi, who is supremely independent, Svatantra, places herself in the very capable, trustworthy hands of the Madhyam Bhagavata Vaishnava. That means that personality who is acting in that role of being the helper. So she places herself in their hands, and they will give accordingly, cutting our anarthas and awakening bhakti at the same time. So this is important for us to understand. It is very difficult to surrender or submit to an Uttama Vaishnava who's acting in that role. Sometimes, and quite often, we cannot even understand them properly. Like Gauridas Pandit, Bangshidas Babaji Maharaj, Gorkishoras Babaji Maharaj. Very avadut. Avadut means they're beyond the rules and regulations of scriptures. They're already in the stage, or always in the stage, of spontaneous loving affection for the Lord. Sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, sometimes rolling on the ground, sometimes doing crazy things, like chastising their deities, and other things like that. And we won't be able to understand them properly, and rather we will tend to criticize them. So in order to help us avoid that tendency, sometimes our Guru Varga recommends that we keep a respectful distance, but don't mix too closely, because we are not qualified to be able to digest what they are experiencing. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first went into the temple of Jagannath in Puri, he was exhibiting all kinds of ecstatic transformations, Ashta Sattvika Bhavas. And from that, he was also manifesting what appeared to be some kind of divine madness. He was jumping up in the air, falling on the ground, foaming at the mouth, shaking, trivering, roaring. And then he was running toward the altar. Seeing Jagannath as Sakshat Brajendra Nandan, he wanted to, in the Bhava Srimati Radhika, embrace that Brajendra Nandan Shyama Sundar. As he was running, he collapsed and fell unconscious, and at that time some of the Pandits of that mandir wanted to beat him with sticks and throw him out. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he heard and saw, wait a second, I recognize these symptoms. According to scripture, this looks like he's experiencing ecstatic transformations of bhav and prem. And so he brought him back to his own personal residence and nourished him back to health or awakeness. So those who don't understand, they might do the wrong thing. And so for us, whoever of us might be considered, or who consider ourselves neophyte, aspiring Vaishnavas, then this might be why our Guru Varga sometimes warns us, be careful, you're not qualified to digest their activities. We might not respect Shukadev Goswami if we didn't recognize him. How would he appear if he walked into the temple today, wherever you are? Dusty, very naked, quite young, long matted hair, laughing like a madman, completely unable to communicate if anything mundane were to be said to him, like, Prabhu, maybe you should put some clothes on. Only the trees would echo in response. Maybe you should cut your hair. Maybe you should take a bath. Only the trees would echo in response. And we would be like, this is not appropriate for you to be in the temple looking like this. It's offensive to be like that in front of the deities. That's how we would respond. But how was he? He's completely absorbed 24 hours in serving his beloved Ishtadev and Ishtadevi, the parrot of Srimati Radhika, Shri Shuka. So because of our own inadequacies, we are given some regulations, some restrictions. And we are also given the instruction that we should submit to any very qualified personality who is acting in the role of Madhyama Vaishnava, who can discriminate between what we are doing that is favorable and what we are doing that is unfavorable. Cut our narthas and give us prema bhakti. So, adosha darashi prabhu, you never see the faults of others. This also has another deeper meaning. And that means, despite all of my disqualifications, still, you see hope in me. You still see that I can make progress and that I can awaken my devotion for the Lord. Look at how Srila Prabhupada did that around the world. So many persons were doing so many sinful activities. But he overlooked all of it, whatever anyone was doing. And he saw, you are all eternal servants of Krishna. So all of these persons came to him, fell at his feet. He accepted them and then engaged them in seva and then began to instruct them. Avoid what is unfavorable and do what is favorable. But still, he didn't recognize all of these anarthas, all of these sins and everything. One time I ran to Gurudev, I was so freaked out. Shamarani Didi gave a class and I was feeling so, hopeless. Sometimes we hear classes and that happens to us. And so I ran to Gurudev and I was just like, Gurudev, I need help. And I just saw the mountain of my anarthas. I said, I'm hopeless. I have so much lust and anger and greed and madness and envy and pride and all of these things. And I just saw Mount Everest before me, this massive mountain. And I was revealing all of this to Gurudev. I don't know what to do. And he just looked at me and he said, bah, it's nothing. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. It's a mountain. And for him, it was not even a particle of dust. He said, bah, it's nothing. Just follow my instructions and very easily these things will go. So, this is also part of the duty of the disciple or aspiring disciple to reveal to Gurudev, this is my situation. And then Gurudev responds accordingly, according to our capacity most of the time. Sometimes, like an expert physician, surgeon, Guru doesn't just start cutting immediately, but rather first gives us, Gurudev spoke these words, I'm paraphrasing, but some gentle language, how are you, how is your family, how is your business, like, talking in a very sweet way. This is kind of like giving you anesthetic before surgery begins. And you're like, oh, so nice. He's very gentle. Here, have a sweet, some very kind words. And then, once you are able to relax in the company of Gurudev in essence, then he starts going to work, cutting out all of our anarthas, which are like so many cancers plaguing us. So this is the situation that Gurudev must take care to make sure that our anarthas come out. But sometimes we don't even recognize the work that Guru is doing. When Gurudev brought us to Taliban many years before, 1999 or 2000, he said, you might not be able to see it, but I can see that so much progress has been made. Don't think that coming to all of these holy places, in the association of Guru and Vaishnavas, the pure devotees, placing your head in the dust, doing kirtan with all the Vaishnavas, and hearing Harikatha of these places from the mouth of the pure Vaishnavas, don't think that nothing is happening. So much is happening. I can see it, but you might not be able to see it. This is also the function of Guru, who has that greater vision. They can see from a holistic perspective, where we're only seeing from our own perspective. So when I was reading this line, Adosha Darashi Prabhu, you never see the faults of others. It's not that they don't see what is holding us back, but they don't discriminate by saying, well, you've done so many simple activities, so you're not qualified. They see our potential. They see what's inside, and then they start cleaning. They start doing hard work to remove all of those anarthas and make it a beautiful, beautiful garden, like Vrindavan. And then they will invite the Lord and Lady of our heart to come and play there. So now we will call out for the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami. Shuniyachi sadhumuke bole sarvajan. By Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur, page 51. Shuniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarvajano Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugala charana Shuniyachi sadhu bole sarvajano Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugala charana Ha ha Prabhu Sanātana Gaura Parivaro Ha Prabhu Sanātana Gaura Parivaro Sabe mili vancha purna koro amaro Sabe mili vancha purna Shri Rupero Kripa Jeno Ama Prati Hoya Shri Rupero Kripa Jeno Ama Prati Hoya Se Padoya Shrayo Ja Se padoya shrayo jar se mahashoya Prabhu lokanatho kavi sange loya jave Prabhu lokanatho kavi sange loya jave Shri Rupero pado padme more समर्पिबे श्री रूपेरो पादो पद्मे मोरे समर्पिबे हेनो की होइबे मोरो नर्म सखी गाने हेनो की होइबे मोरो नर्म सखी गाने अनुगत नरोत्तमे करिबे शासने अनुगत नरोत्तमे करिबे शासने शुनियाछि साधु मुखे बोले सर्वजन श्री रूप कृपायो मिले जुगल चरण शुनियाछि साधु मुखे बोले सर्वजन श्री रूप कृपायो मिले जुगल चरण रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी रूप सनातन जय रूप सनातन रूप सनातन जय रूप सनातन जय रूप सनातन जय रूप सनातन जय रूप सनातन प्रभु है 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 श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय श्री सनातन गोस्वामी पाद की जय श्री सद गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय रूपानुग गौरी गुरुवर्ग की जय Now we will cry out for the mercy of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. Nadiya Godrume Nityanand Mahajan, page 163. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar গদাধর শ্রীবাসাদি গৌর ভক্ত বৃন্দ শ্রী কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর শ্রীবাসাদি গৌর ভক্ত বৃন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর শ্রীবাসাদি গৌর ভক্ত বৃন্দ নদিয়া নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ নদিয়া নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ শ্রদ্ধাবন্ন জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবন্ন জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবন্ন জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবন্ন জন হে পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ প্রভুর যজ্ঞায় ভাই মাগিয়ে ভিক্ষা প্রভুর যজ্ঞায় ভাই মাগিয়ে ভিক্ষা बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण करो कृष्ण शिक्षा बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण करो कृष्ण शिक्षा नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन पाতিয়াছে नाम हट जीवेर कारण नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन पाতিয়াছে नाम हट जीवेर कारण अपराध शून्य होये लोह कृष्ण नाम अपराध शून्य होये लोह कृष्ण नाम कृष्ण माता कृष्ण पिता कृष्ण धन प्राण कृष्ण माता कृष्ण पिता कृष्ण धन प्राण नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन पाতিয়াছে नाम हट जीवेर कारण नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन पाতিয়াছে नाम हट जीवेर कारण कृष्णेर संसार करो छारी अनाचार कृष्णेर संसार करो छारी अनाचार जीवे दया कृष्ण नाम सर्वधर्म सार जीवे दया कृष्ण नाम सर्वधर्म सार नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन पाতিয়াছে नाम हत जीवेर कारण नदिया गोद्रुमे नित्यानंद महाजन পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ শ্রদ্ধাবন জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবন জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবন জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবন জন হে পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন পাতিয়াছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ নিতাই 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 হে 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 पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। Sudevi, do you think it's time to open the curtains? It's getting warmer suddenly. Maybe because I'm playing mridanga faster. Thank you, thank you. And put that fan there. Okay.
We'll see this side.
Now we will call out for Śrī Satyanandana Gaur Hari. I wish I knew how to sing some of these.
I just don't want you to forget Krishna Mai and Pani Bhushan.
So we'll mention that now. Excuse me. So some of the devotees who regularly participate in these daily programs, Krishnamai and Pani Bhushan Prabhu, their son who just turned 18 years old a couple of days ago. What's his name? Nitai Gaurasundar? Nitai Gaurasundar? Disciple of Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja. On his 18th birthday, suddenly he had an extreme pain in his head and he screamed out and then he collapsed, he fainted. And they're not sure exactly what it is, but they're concerned it could be a stroke or something like that. Anyhow, it's quite frightening. He now has to undergo many different kinds of tests. His only goal in life was to travel with his guru, to be with his guru and to serve his guru.
When he was younger, he quit school and his friends and joined the temple.
When he was younger, he quit school, quit his friends, and joined the temple. So,
his mother is Gurukuli. His mother and father are Gurukulis.
okay. His mother and father are Gurukulis. It means they also, when they were young, went to Gurukul. They were born as devotees also. So, anyhow, for any parent, you can imagine this is quite concerning that your 18-year-old son would go through such a situation. His desire is to serve, and so they're asking that we can send prayers for, well, we're also asking and we are also praying.
They know that only the blessings and prayers of the Vaishnavas are everything.
So we can pray that he can and also they can be peaceful and that they can all continue to grow and continue to serve for many, many, many more years.
Please send strength to them, especially as parents. You know, it's sometimes the person going through an illness can handle it better than the loved ones. So much strength and affection and prayers for their entire family.
Yes.
And
Okay.
please remember them when you do the Maha Mantra.
Yes.
Just calling out and sending all good and beautiful, positive, everything to them. Thank you, dear devotees.
Thank you.
Can you just remind everyone before Hare Krishna?
Okay. Sundaralala Sachiradulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtaname. And that is page 361, or whatever Jiva Pavana Prabhu posts. They need your prayers. The prayers of the Vaishnavas are the only things which can benefit us really. Yesterday, Sudevi shared something really beautiful with me. Sudevi?
Yeah?
Can you tell what Vamandas told that Sarananda Swami said about the principles of Sharanagati, of surrender, how to apply them in bhakti?
So, in the book Krishna Chaitanya that I'm reading, he's speaking about Sharanagati, which he calls refuge. Like, we call it surrender, but also refuge is quite a beautiful terminology for Sharanagati. It implies that I'm like a refugee. I've been suffering through samsara since time immemorial, and now I'm taking refuge at your lotus feet. So from this point, I will only accept those things that are favorable for my bhakti, for you, to please you. And accordingly, I will reject those things that are unfavorable. So, anukulyasya sankalpa, I'm making a sankalpa, a vrat, to only accept those things that are anukul, bhakti anukul. And pratikulyasya, varjana. I'm giving up those things that are pratikul, that are against, that are not favorable.
Rakshishyatiti vishvaso.
So he's saying that Krishna is my protector. He is my protector, and we always think he is my protector and he is my maintainer. These are the next two, so there's four. So giving up and accepting good things, giving up bad things, then he is my maintainer, my protector and maintainer. So here, Sadananda Swami tells Vamandas, and he has it in his footnotes, that what does that mean? As we've heard before, we're concerned about our bodies. We think that these are the most important things. But here, Sadananda Swami tells Vamandas what exactly he means by protector and maintainer. Yes, of the body. Yes, of course, all of these things. He's taking care of his devotees. But how will the devotee pray in the mood of bhakti? It won't be selfish necessarily. So what he's saying is that he will protect my ability to serve. And he will
say that again.
He will protect my ability to serve. And that he is the maintainer. He is the maintainer of my seva. He is that person who can maintain my ability to serve him for his own pleasure. So it was a very beautiful new twist on this verse. Instead of only looking at it for our own bodily necessities, he was showing also this other angle of vision, that we're praying that this sankalpa of accepting those things that are bhakti anukul. So that means my seva should be protected. It should be maintained. I thought that was just so beautiful. I had to share it with Kishori Mohan because I never looked at that verse that way. So in that way too, we can also pray for Krishna Mai and their family, that not only because she expressed that it's so difficult when you know the philosophy and you've lived it, but when you come and you're confronted with the horror of something and you're not philosophical at that point, your heart is overwhelmed and you break down. So also may their seva be protected, may their bhakti anukul be protected, especially their sons whose bhakti anukul is so strong. He only wants to serve his Gurudev, and this is for all of us, that this prayer can be prayed for. So very beautiful. Thank you for having me remember it.
When she told me that yesterday, I was very surprised, which is kind of interesting because I've been really endeavoring to try to see everything through the filter, everything related to bhakti, and we were just talking about it the other night, through the filter of the verse Anyabhilashita Shunyam. That is what I am doing bhakti or not. And I never really thought to see the Sharanagati verse. It is actually 6 symptoms. Shadvidha Sharanagati means 6 symptoms. I never thought to see the Sharanagati verse through the filter of the definition of bhakti. That's one of the reasons our Srila Gurudev was so intent on impressing this verse within us. Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. What is pure bhakti? And so if we apply that verse to everything that we're doing, including the process of surrender, then, well, if it is jnana karma adi anavritam, devoid of reward-seeking activity, then to pray or expect that Krishna is my body's protector and my body's maintainer, this could also be included within karma mishra bhakti. So how do you see it from the perspective of pure bhakti? This is how Sadananda Swami was teaching his disciple Vaman Das. How to see it from the perspective of pure bhakti. Instead of thinking, oh, for my body's protection and my body's maintenance, how can I see that in terms of what is for Krishna's happiness, Krishna's pleasure, Krishna's benefit, what is favorable for Krishna exclusively? That is the filter of pure bhakti as defined by the verse Anyabhilashita Shunyam. And so when she was reading it to me, it was like fireworks. It was like, whoa, that's quite interesting. Rakshishyatiti Vishvaso, that he is my protector. Well, the devotee is not concerned for their body. We were just hearing about this with Satyavrata Muni. He's saying here, Kuberatmajo baddha murtyaiva yadvatvaya mochito bhakti bhajo kritocha. He's saying, mochito, I don't even want this liberation or anything. Only tata prema bhakti. Whatever situation you put me in, heaven or hell or any situation, just let me always have prema bhakti for you. Let me always be in the association of your pure devotees. This is what he's praying. And we see this again and again echoed by all of our Guru Varga, all of our Shastras. So instead of thinking, oh, this is protection for my body, the Vaishnavas are saying, Rake Krishna Mareke, Mare Krishna Rakeke. Marobi Rakobi Joachatoha. If Krishna wants to kill you, no one can save you. If Krishna wants to save you, no one can kill you. So they're praying like this. So how do we apply it to the principle of pure bhakti? We pray like this. Rakshishyatiti Vishvasha. Oh, may you always protect my ability to serve. Goptritve varanam tata. And may you always maintain my ability to serve. So in the connection of what we were just praying for before, we're praying because his desire is to serve. May he have that ability to continue to serve. Not only him, may his mother and father, and may all of us also have that maintain our ability or our capacity to serve Guru, Vaishnava and Krishna. May that be protected. And Goptritve Varanam Tata, may my capacity and ability to continue to serve Guru, Vaishnava and Bhagavan always be maintained. Then we are seeing it through the lens of the definition of pure bhakti. This human form of life is the only medium by which one can endeavor for perfection. And so we look at it as a very valuable medium for service. We should not take it for granted or take it lightly. It's not something to be neglected or rejected so easily. So may this form which allows me to endeavor for perfection, what is that? To love and serve Krishna. May this be maintained as long as possible so that I can make that endeavor to love and serve Krishna. So we're praying for the son of Krishnamai and Panibhushan Prabhu, that may his human form be maintained so that he can continue to serve more and more and more, and that he can be happy forever. I just thought it was so pertinent to share that at this point. So now we're going to sing Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai, page 361. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. 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 Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Bhale Chandana Tilakamanoharo Bhale Chandana Tilakamanoharo Alakashobhe Kapolano Me. Alakashobhe Kapolano Me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Shire Chura Darshanirale Shire Chura Darshanirale Vanapulamala Hiya Paradole. Vanapulamala Hiya Paradole. Pahirana Pita Patambara Shobhe. Pahirana Pita Patambara Shobhe. Nupurarunu Jhunu Charanano Me. Nupurarunu Jhunu Charanano Me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Koi gavat hai Radha Krishna naam. Koi gavat hai Hari Guna gaan. Koi gavat hai Radha Krishna naam. Koi gavat hai Hari Guna gaan. Mridanga tala madhura rasala. Mridanga tala madhura rasala. Koi gavat hai rangana me. Koi gavat hai rangana me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana Me. 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 Sundara Lala Sachira Dulala Nachata Shri Hari Kirtana mein Sundara Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtana mein Jaya Shachi Nandan Jaya Gaura Hari Shachi Nandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Shachi Nandan Jaya Gaura Hari Shachi Nandan Jaya Gaura Hari Gaura He 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 Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Hari Hari Kabe Mora Hoebe Sudina. Anup Krishna Prabhu of Pure Cow Seva the other night was telling me that they were singing this bhajan in front of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī's Samadhi the other night. It was so beautiful, so sweet, and so deep and heartfelt. He said that they couldn't help themselves but to weep. And so I wanted to sing it the other day, but somehow didn't receive the opportunity. Page 122. And also this bhajan is very closely linked to our Srila Prabhupada, in that if you listen to the recordings of our Srila Gurudev's last visit to our Srila Prabhupada before his departure from our vision, Srila Gurudev had Sheshai Prabhu sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, you can hear on the recording, and then Gurudev led Hari Hari Kabe Mora Hoibe Sudina. 1, 2, 2. And it's very, very powerful, beautiful, and deep meaning. It's Srila Narottam Das Thakur calling out to all of these divine personalities for their mercy. All of the cowherd boys, the gopis, the manjaris, all. He's praying to them, please give me your mercy. And we should not assume that just because Narottam Das Thakur is praying to cowherd boys or to the Vatsalya Premi devotees of Krishna and to the gopis, that he is something different than what his eternal swarup is. He's also a maidservant of Srimati Radhika. Some people like to claim that because any Vaishnava might write something with any mood that has any cowherd boy in it, therefore this proves that they are cowherd boys. But in this case, then we could prove that Bhaktivedānta Thakur is a cowherd boy, or that Narottam Das Thakur is a cowherd boy. So that does not work like that. Those who are pure devotees, they're so humble that they pray to all of the transcendental associates of the Lord to please give them mercy. Hari Hari Kabe Moro Hoibe Sudina. Hari Hari Kabe Moro Hoibe Sudina. Bhajibo Shri Radha Krishna Hoya Premadhino. Bhajibo Shri Radha Krishna Hoya Premadhino. Suyantre Mishaya Gavo Sumadhuro Thano. Suyantre Mishaya Gavo Sumadhuro Thano. Anande Kori Boduhai কান্দিবয়ুচৈশ্বরে রাধিকা গোবিন্দ বলি কান্দিবয়ুচৈশ্বরে রাধিকা গোবিন্দ বলি কান্দিবয়ুচৈশ্বরে ভিজিবে সকলয়ঙ্গ নয়নের নীরে ভিজিবে সকলয়ঙ্গ নয়নের নীরে এবারো করুণা করো রূপ সনাতন এবারো করুণা করো রূপ সনাতন রঘুনাথ দাস মোর শ্রী জীব জীবন রঘুনাথ দাস মোর শ্রী জীব জীবন এবারো করুণা করো ললিতা বিশাখা এবারো করুণা করো ললিতা বিশাখা সখ্য ভাবে শ্রী দামসু বলয়াদি সখা সখ্য ভাবে শ্রী দামসু বলয়াদি সখা সবে মিলি করো দয়া পুরুক মোর আশ সবে মিলি করো দয়া পুরুক মোর আশ প্রার্থনা করো এ সদা নরোত্তম দাস প্রার্থনা করো এ সদা নরোত্তম দাস হরি হরি কবে মোর হইবে সুদিন হরি হরি কবে মোর হইবে সুদিন ভজিব শ্রী রাধা কৃষ্ণ হইয়া প্রেম ধীন ভজিব শ্রী রাধা কৃষ্ণ হইয়া প্রেম ধীন রাধে হে কৃষ্ণ হে রাধে হে কৃষ্ণ হে রাধে হে কৃষ্ণ হে রাধে হে কৃষ্ণ হে ও প্রভু হে প্রভু Prabhu he, Prabhu he. Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Now we will sing Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, page 343 by Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Pad. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Mano Manasamadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankajam Makarande, Mano Manasamadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankajam Makarande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Yadyapi Samadhishu Vidhirapi Pashyati Natavanakhagram Mariche, Yadyapi Samadhishu Vidhirapi Pashyati Natavanakhagram Mariche, Idam Vichhami Nisham Yatavachyuta Tadapi Kripadhuta Vichim, Idam Vichhami Nisham Yatavachyuta Tadapi Kripadhuta Vichim, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Bhakti Udanchati Yadyapi Madhava Natvai Mamati Namatri, Bhakti Rudanchati Yadyapi Madhava Natvai Mamati Namatri, Parameshwarata Tadapi Tavadhika Durghata Ghatana Vidhatri, Parameshwarata Tadapi Tavadhika Durghata Ghatana Vidhatri, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Ayam Avilolata Sanatana Kalitadhuta Rasabharam, Ayam Avilolata Sanatana Kalitadhuta Rasabharam, Nivasatu Nityamrihamrita Nindini Bindana Madhuri Masaram, Nivasatu Nityamrihamrita Nindini Bindana Madhuri Masaram, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Mano Manasamadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankajam Makarande, Mano Manasamadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankajam Makarande, Mano Manasamadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankajam Makarande, Manasamadhukaram Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna He 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 Oh Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Uh-oh. Now we're going to call for the grace and mercy of Srimati Radhika. Ramani Shiromani Vrishabhanu Nandini. I'm remembering when Tamal Krishna Brahmachari sang that in front of Srila Gurudev during the month of Kartik. Thousands of devotees were there, all chanting loudly, Kandiba Uchaishware, at the top of their lungs. And it was so beautiful. And after, Srila Gurudev was such a mood. It's like if Bhaktivedānta Thakur was here right now and he heard you singing this like this in this assembly at this time, he would bless. And Gurudev had that mood. So I'm remembering that and praying for even a drop, a particle of the mercy of the blessing of Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Page 104. Page 104, Ramani Shiromani Vrishabhanu Nandini by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Ramani Shiromani Vrishabhanu Nandini Nīlavasana Paridhano Ramani Shiromani Vrishabhanu Nandini Nīlavasana Paridhana Ramani Shiromani Vrishabhanu Nandini Nīlavasana Paridhano Ramani Shiromani Vrishabhanu Nandini নীলাবসনা পরিধানা ঝিন পুরত জিনি বর্ণ বিকাশী ঝিন পুরত জিনি বর্ণ বিকাশী বধক বরি হরি প্রাণ বধক বরি হরি প্রাণ সুদেবী never mind রমণী শিরোমণি বৃষভানুনন্দিনী নীলাবসন পরিধান রমণী শিরোমণি বৃষভানুনন্দিনী নীলাবসন পরিধান আভরণ মণ্ডিতা হরিরস পণ্ডিতা আভরণ মণ্ডিতা হরিরস পণ্ডিতা তিলক সুশোভিত ভালা তিলক সুশোভিত ভালা কঞ্চুলিকা চারিতা স্তনমণি মণ্ডিতা কঞ্চুলিকা চারিতা স্তনমণি মণ্ডিতা কজল নয়নীর সালা কজল নয়নীর সালা ও রমণী শিরোমণি বৃষভানুনন্দিনী নীলাবসন পরিধান রমণী শিরোমণি বৃষভানুনন্দিনী নীলাবসন পরিধান সকদত্যজিয়াসে রাধা চরণে সকল ত্যজিয়াসে রাধা চরণে দাসী হয়ে ভজ পরম যতনে rati gori lila garvo pariharo rati gori lila garvo Lakshmi Satya Sobhagyo Balani Shachi Lakshmi Satya Sobhagyo Balani Parajita hoyo Jaharo Charani Parajita hoyo Jaharo Charani Krishna Vasikare Chandra Baliyadi Krishna Vasikare Chandra Baliyadi Arajaye Mane Hoiya Vivadi Arajaye Mane Hoiya Vivadi Hari Doi To Radha Charana वृषभानुनंदनी श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय, श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय. Oh, 50% was on my phone, not your phone.
Oh, okay. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, don't forget the lamp and remember the meditation.
Okay. And I might need a little more water. So now we will call out Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Namāmishvaram Sachidanandarupam page. Well, you know the page. I hope so by now. That one I think we've all got memorized. And today we are doing the Gaudiya tune. There you go. Anjali's got it. That's a lot of 290s. So, before we begin, Sudevi has prepared the Prem Pradip, the lamp of love. I know. Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Giriraj Mahārāja Ki Jai, Shalagram Shila Ki Jai, Little Gopal Ki Jai, Little Gopal Ki Jai, Yashoda Damodar Ki Jai, Radha Damodar Ju Ki Jai. Namami Shwaram Shachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyo Luko Ladhavamanam Paramrishtamatyan Tatadrutya Gopya Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Rudantam Muhurnetram Yugmam Brijantam Karam Bhoja Jumenam Shatam Kanetram Muhushvasakam Trilekhankakanta Stitagraivadam Dharam Bhaktivedāntam Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Iti Drikshali Labhirananda Kunde Svaghosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadiyeshitavyeshu Bhaktarjitatam Guna Prematastam Shatavritti Vande Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Varam Devamoksham Namokshavadhin Gachanyam Brineham Parishadapiha Idam Te Pritam kuntalai snigdha traktaishcha gopya muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virastam malam lakshalabhai namamisharam Satchidanandarupam Nasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namo Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Chalabhimagnam Kripa Drishti Vrishtyati Dinam Batan Grihane Shamamodhyam Idhyakshidesha Namami Sharam Satchidanandarupam Rasatkundalam Gokule Brajaman Kuveratmajo Badham Murtyaiva Yadvat Payamochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha Tatha Prema Bhaktim Sakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Namamisharam Satchidanandarupam Nasatkundalam Gokule Brajaman Namaste Studamne Skuradipti Dhamne Kadiyodarayato Vishwasya Dhamne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyai Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyai Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyai Namo Nantalilayo Devaya Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya 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 Namo Nantadilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nantadilaya Devaya Tubhyam Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Shri Radha Damodar Ji ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So before we sing the Hare Krishna, I just want to remind everyone to pray what is his name? Nitai Gaurasundar? For Nitai Gaurasundar, the son of Krishnamai and Panibhushan, who recently experienced at the age of 18 on his birthday what appeared to be something like a stroke, and it could be very severe. Well, it was very severe, and so they're requesting the prayers of the Vaishnavas especially for the spiritual benefit of their son, but as Sudevi already said, also the family who's going through that experience also requires prayers, so we're praying for them and for him. And his desire is to travel and serve his Gurudev. So it's a very beautiful desire. Nimai Sundar. Thank you. And now we will call out the mercy of Shri Radha and Krishna in the prayer, which is capable of awakening prem for the soul. Prem Atma. Awakening prem within our Atma. That is the very special, most powerful mantra, Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Govinda Mahārāja said that calling out Maha Mantra is the sound of the jiva crying out in separation from Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Shrinitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shri Gurudeva ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Vishnupar, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Vishnupar, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Jai Vaishnavas, Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. Before I continue, I just remembered something. So there is going to be a virtual Navadvip Parikrama. What do they call it? The first official Zoomacram or something like that. I don't know exactly how it is. If anyone has a link to that,
Or we can
Or we can post it after, but if anyone has, then you can please post it within this thread. That would be very good. We can post it after. Let me see. Oh, somewhere in here, somewhere I have it, but I don't know where. But I just wanted to remind everyone, including myself, to remind everyone. Let's see. There. Let's see. Copy all. See if I can put it there. Did it go? Oh. Jai. There it is. So they're going to be doing a virtual Navadvip Parikrama because a lot of the world is going back into lockdown. I think Italy has gone back into a major lockdown. Also parts of India, Maharashtra, Pune, and other places are going into lockdown, which is kind of interesting because if you go outside here, you wouldn't notice that there was anything at all. Thank you, Sonam, also. Okay. So, yeah, it's just the way it is. So many places are going into lockdown and, well, it's good for the virtual sanghas. So many different groups of devotees are coming together on all kinds of social media platforms for the purpose of remembering the glories of Gurus, Vaishnavas, Sachinandan Gaurahari, Nityananda Prabhu, Radha and Krishna. So if whatever situation comes about in our lives, we are able to turn it and utilize it to remember Krishna, and that is favorable. Just as we were walking out today, we went out the door and we started walking downstairs. I saw a very interesting thing. A very, very large black bumblebee. But this wasn't like a normal fuzzy bumblebee. This was a black shiny bumblebee. It even had the kind of complexion like a crow would have. So black that it reflects the bluish tint of the sky. And of course, when you see a black bumblebee like that in Vrindavan, what do you think? For the first person who answers that question here, well, what can I give you? Bowl of rasagullas, sweet rasagullas. Madhusudan. If you see a black bumblebee, you should think of Krishna immediately. And if we can train our minds, then we can see Krishna everywhere and in everything. That's why he gave so many examples in Bhagavad Gita. And in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, he gave the examples of Guru, 24 Gurus, seeing Guru everywhere. 24 examples of the unlimited, right? Tang sarva bhuta hridayam muniman tosmi. I see my Gurudev situated within the heart of every living entity. This is what Sutta Goswami is praying to Shukdev Goswami. So one can see Sri Krishna in everything, everywhere, in whatever it is. I mean, if you see a clock, then you remember Krishna saying, "Time I am." And suddenly I see a light, and Krishna says, "I am the light of the sun." Right? So you can think of Krishna in any situation. Even when I see a fan, I just looked up the fan and, well, I remember Srila Gurudev saying something. He said in the past, he said, nowadays you'd be lucky if anyone would just point a fan in your direction. He said in the past, he said when he was at home back in the day, he said with so much affection from their own heart during the hot summer months, because he would be working all day. When he would come home through the night, his sisters would be there fanning him so that he can sleep nicely, but out of love and affection. He said these days you would be lucky if someone would point an electric fan in your direction. So just even something like that. You think of a fan, or you can see a peacock fan. What is a peacock fan? Anything, everything should be able to remind us of Krishna, no matter what it is. In any situation, whatever happens, we should somehow be able to see Krishna, remember Krishna in it. Then we can become Krishna conscious. Yes, I was waiting for that. When you see the bumblebee, you should always think of Srimati Radhika. She's speaking to bumblebee in Brahmar Geet, as Sonam has very clearly told. Srimati Radhika is chastising that bumblebee. Oh, you unreliable servant of an unreliable master. I know what you've been doing. I can see that your feet are all red. You've been moving from flower to flower. She's implying that Krishna is going from gopi to gopi or lady to lady like this. And she's chastising that bumblebee. But this is in a state of Premun Mad, transcendental divine madness. And Uddhava is witnessing from a far off distance, going, oh my God, I didn't even know this kind of love for Krishna was possible. And then he began feeling himself and his love for Krishna to be completely smashed by the weight and the glory of the love of the gopis, especially Srimati Radhika. So just seeing a bumblebee, you can remember that entire pastime of Srimati Radhika chastising that bumblebee. Also, our Guru Varga have explained that Krishna came in the form of that bumblebee, and so he's somehow there deserving that chastisement. He likes it. He prefers it. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a verse which states, Krishna is paraphrasing Krishna in essence, that I'm not at all attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas, which are full of so much Aishvarya. It doesn't melt my heart or attract me. Moods of awe and reverence and opulence and majesty, all of these lofty prayers. But the chastising words of my Braja Gopis, oh, this completely melts my heart, captivates my mind, and controls me. So now, we will continue with verse 7 of Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. We are almost complete through here. Sudevi recommended or suggested, maybe we should start Śrīmad Bhagavatam. That'll be the next 30 years, she said. 30 years we can continue. She said, oh, that would be so great. So perhaps someone can post those verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The exact words are very beautiful. So this Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam is the manifestation from the heart of Śrī Satyavrata Muni. Over many, many millions of years, the bhavs, the moods in his heart progressed. And as they were progressing, these verses were manifesting from his heart. Sri Ved Vyas placed it in Padma Purana. Then the commentary was given by Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, one of them. It is in here. And then that one is in pure Sanskrit. So you're welcome to read it, but I don't know who understands pure Sanskrit much anymore. Then there's the translation of that commentary by our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, along with his own Bhav Anuvad, and that is followed by the commentary of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Goswami Maharaj, which is full of Ras and Bhav, Rasik and Bhavuk. And those who are thoroughly honest, Muhur Aho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha, they will relish this transcendental scripture, which is full of the pastimes of Krishna. So before entering into this transcendental treasure and examining its contents, we will pray to the divine personalities I have just mentioned in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairāga juga bhakti rasam prayatnayat apayanan mam anubhipshamandam kripambadirya paradukuduki sanatanastam prabham ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet, that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. Now we are coming to the end of the commentary of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj, the last page of verse 7. Kuberatmajo badha murtyaiva yadvat tvayamochito bhakti bhajo krito cha tata prema bhakti swakame prayacha na mokshe graho me Śrī Dāmodareha Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. I just looked out and saw I will be 91 when they finish. You know, we might not even make it to the end in this life. But what does Śrīmad Bhagavatam say? Actually, our Srila Prabhupada made a comment once. He said, what is this 7 days? Mahārāja Parikshit only had 7 days left to live, so Shukadeva Goswami had to give it in 7 days. But he was speaking all day and all night. And not only that, no one needed to eat, no one needed to sleep, no one needed to go to the toilet. Everything was completely satisfied and nourished by hearing the nectar of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Because their soul was completely saturated, then all of the functions of the body were also completely nourished. But Srila Prabhupada said, why only 7 days? Bhagavatam says, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, forever, eternally. So, anyhow, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, the success of this body, I believe it was him, the success of this body is that we are somehow engaged in seva, even at the last moments of our life. So we will continue, and then afterward, right, the most essential thing forever is sadhu sangha. So always continuing to hear, to remember, to study Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So now I'm just going to paraphrase the last short paragraph that we read yesterday. Yeah, that would be really good too. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Our Srila Gurudev said that without studying Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can never properly understand Śrīmad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita gives us the lens or the eyes through the medium of our Rupanuga Guru Varga. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami studied under the Goswamis of Vrindavan for how many years, Sudevi?
He said like 20 or 30, something like that.
20 or 30 years.
A very long time.
Under the guidance of our Goswamis, our 6 Goswamis, and the other Goswamis, before he wrote Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So all of their moods, all of their bhavs, all of their vision, how to see Krishna, the difference between Krishna in Vrindavan and Mathura and Dwarka and all of the other avatars, the specialities of all of the intricacies of bhakti, and how to understand and define the different levels of bhakti. The level of Dhruva Maharaj, the level of Prahlad Maharaj, the level of Narada Muni, the level of the gopis. All of these different levels. If you have the lens of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, then you will be able to taste it more wonderfully. You know, when you have rice, dal, halava, puris, pakoras, ladus, rasagullas, sandesh, and sweet rice, you can mix it all together or you can have it all individually. And if you're able to taste each thing individually, then you will experience the ras. So through the lens of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will be able to see and understand and individually taste all of the different aspects that are present within. After coming to the guidance of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and then going back and reading Srila Prabhupada's purports, one, he's very serious but also quite humorous, quite hilarious at times. And then you can see his purports. His purports are literally shlokas strung together like a flower garland, one after another, with the infusing of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and all of our Goswamis. And you can see where the shlokas are popping up, where the verses are popping up. Oh, this is Krishna Tattva, this is Jiva Tattva, Maya Tattva, Guru Tattva. It's quite amazing to be able to see it like that and understand that in its context. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita grants us the eyes to see it from that perspective. Otherwise, we will look at it linearly and we might actually make mistakes. Like, oh, the goal of, apparently Krishna was in Vrindavan for only 10 years or 12 years, and then he went to Mathura and Dwarka, so apparently he wants to be in Dwarka, so let's go to Dwarka. Well, if you take that mood, then you might lose out on the opportunity of following Srila Rupa Goswami, becoming Rupa Anuga. So then, if you understand it through the context or the lens of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, then you will see the Dvaraka pastimes as a manifestation of the Braja pastimes. Means Krishna is manifesting in that form of Dvarkadish and performing so many pastimes. But the original aspect is Krishna in Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Charitamrita will give us that lens. So I really like that idea. One other thing about Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I've thought about this quite a lot, and it's something, food for thought. Our Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, he had done Krishna book early on, and he wanted it distributed all over the world, but with his very qualified commentary so that people would not make the mistake of thinking Krishna was any ordinary person. But then he was doing Śrīmad Bhagavatam, translations and commentaries. And I've been wondering, where's Keshava Priya? Where's Keshava Priya? And then she writes, gone. So there you are. We're back. We're back. Okay. So I'm just going to read this last paragraph. Hearing the prayers of Satyavrata Muni, Shri Krishna says, O sage, you should accept liberation. Krishna will try to give us that, which includes complete freedom from all of the miseries of material existence. The sage responds, O my Lord, I may encounter innumerable troubles in this life, and according to my past deeds and impressions, I may have to take birth in any species of life or even in hell. But I have no concern for my material fate. I just beg you to give me abundant prema bhakti for you. This is my only prayer. So liberation would mean freedom from material suffering. But devotees don't pray for this, or they shouldn't. Gurudev said, don't pray for anything else. You should only pray for pure bhakti. Krishna will try to give you anything else. Sudevi and I have been discussing this for some time over the last few days since the last time we spoke about this. And she felt it was necessary that we clarify, why does Krishna give anything else? Why will he try to cheat us by giving us anything else? Because he'll see our level of sincerity. What is he doing in Vrindavan that makes him a little bit, want to be a little secure? He completely puts down his godhood, his aishwaryata, and he accepts the chastisement of his devotees. He becomes subservient to them, so much so that he forgets, I am God. And he even runs in fear of his mother. He feels shame and places his flute and his turban and his peacock feather at the feet of Srimati Radhika and begs forgiveness and begs for her foot dust on his head. His friends are slamming him in the dust and jumping on top of him. He has given them full authority to control him. So anyone who's not qualified cannot enter that. Their praying must be so pure and so great that there is no chance of any other mood, any other conception, other than for Krishna's happiness, Krishna's pleasure, Krishna's benefit, what is favorable for him and exclusively for him, without any real concern for me, for this. Really, it's about him. Only in such a situation, when he sees that you are really qualified, will you be able to enter into that situation. Otherwise, he will offer so many other things. Oh, do you want money? Okay, take money. Do you want sense gratification? Easily, you can have sense gratification. You want name, fame, position, power, all of these things? Have it. Oh, you're tired of all of that? You want freedom from the suffering which comes as a result of all of that. The dualities of this material world. To the extent you enjoy, to that extent you will have to suffer. Okay, you want to be free from that? You want to accept liberation, freedom from suffering? You can have that. Yes?
I went back and found where it is,
Okay.
because I was a little worried about. It just starts here and it tells.
Okay.
Because I want that Praman to be there. It's not from my several decades.
Was this the Chaitanya Charitamrita part?
Yeah, I just read that so that they know the Praman for it. It's very short.
Oh, just this last paragraph?
It tells how
Okay.
under what guidance he wrote it.
Okay, was I finished with my other point?
Yeah, you were just finishing.
Okay. So we're skipping back into Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita discussion.
Because I want to give Praman.
This is evidence for what we were saying about Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. From this big book here. In 4 other verses of his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj has summarized the significance of Chaitanya's whole Leela. But only the first verse that deals with Bhagavan Svayam, and which was earlier fragmentarily quoted in the first part, stems from him. For several decades, Krishnadas received instructions from the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Several decades. Who almost all of them were intimate disciples of Chaitanya, as well as from Śrī Dāmodara, Chaitanya's most beloved friend of the Gopi Leela.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you have the exact Praman.
Okay. Okay.
I've never read it anywhere else, so it's good to know where it is from.
Yes. Krishnadas Kaviraj himself, Goswami himself also explains what his situation was in the beginning of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
But when you say, 20 or 30 years,
yes,
I wanted it to be clear that he says it, not me.
Today, Sudevi and I were going through the context, the history of what was going on in Bengal at the time, like politically, according to that book and also from Wikipedia and Bengal history.
It sets the scene in that book, which I never read before.
What was actually happening at the time.
And a little before.
And before that time, before the time of Mahaprabhu, who was in charge? What was the kind of situation that was there? Why were the Brahmins freaking out when there was loud kirtan going on in Srivasangam every night? What was the whole context of that situation? And then you start appreciating the powerful revolutionary nature of Mahaprabhu and his associates.
And he wasn't even a social reformer, but it happened.
Mahaprabhu wasn't a social reformer. He was a soul reformer. So yes, Krishna will offer you anything else, very easily. But that one thing, that special thing, that most treasured thing, that is reserved, right? You don't offer a diamond right off the top. First you offer anything else. What do you want? Do you want this? You want that? You want this? You want that? Only for those who are qualified and who have that greed. No, I want that. You're looking at them. Do you have the funds? Do you have the money? Are you qualified for this? What is your situation? Then the jeweler might bring out the best goods, but not just for anyone. What is your qualification? And although they say that there's no qualification required, still, Krishna, he does not give that so easily. That prema bhakti, braja bhakti. He doesn't give it so easily or so cheaply, because then you can take advantage of him. He is God after all. But he there lets down all of his guard. He lets down his guard and he accepts the role of being completely controlled and subjugated by the love of his devotees, including being chastised, including being humbled, including being slammed in the dust, including having to become like a servant. He carries the shoes of his father on his head. He runs in fear from the stick of his mother as she's chasing him and catches him, and he's actually weeping and crying and panting and also panicking that she's going to hit him. So in that situation, the Supreme Lord of everything gives up his Bhagavata, in a sense, and lets love completely control him. In any other situation, he will offer you anything else. And if you're satisfied with that, then okay. So be it. Have it. But who wants that topmost prema bhakti? This is very rare. So he's even offering this mukti to Satyavrata Muni, and Satyavrata Muni is like, no, I don't want anything. In any situation, whatever situation I may be in, I don't want anything else, only your eternal love and devotion. Tata prema bhakti. I want your pure love and devotion. So Srila Gurudev would ask us in a sequence, do you want liberation? And the devotees would say, no! And Gurudev would laugh. If I just pinched your toe a little bit, just a little bit, you would be screaming for liberation in a moment. But anyhow, do you want to go to Vaikuntha? No, Gurudev. Do you want to go to Ayodhya? No, Gurudev. Do you want to go to Dwarka? No, Gurudev. What do you want? And the devotees would say, Radha Dasyam. And he would be like, very good, like that. Many times in so many festivals around the world, he would take us through that sequence, that progression, and he would want to hear that topmost aspiration. So, once again, just in case you don't remember, if Krishna were to ever stand in front of you and ask you, what do you want? What do you want? What should your only answer be? And that is the question of the day. Srila Gurudev said, only one prayer should come out of your mouth at that time. Svapriya charana kinkaring kuru shyamasundar shikanda shekara. Alright, you are awesome, and Srila Gurudev would be so pleased and so happy and proud, and he would bless you for sure. Very good. All of our acharyas explain that if a sadhaka wants to attain this prema bhakti, he must always seek the association of those who have prema bhakti for Sri Bhagavan in their heart. All of our acharyas explain. Because to receive that or to awaken it, how is it awakened? Bhakta sanjataya bhakta. Bhakti is awakened from that person who has it. So all of those persons who are actually praying for prema bhakti also seek the association of those who possess it within their hearts. That's why Rupa Goswami says in the 8th verse of Upadeshamrita, which is entitled The Essence of All Advice, that is the last line. Tannam rupa charitari sikirtananu smrityo kramena rasanam manasi niyojya tishthan braje tad anuragi jananugami kalam nayar akilam ityupadeshasaram. Akilam ityupadeshasaram means the essence of all advice. Really, the main defining point of all of it is Tishthan braje tad anuragi jananugami. To reside in Braj at the feet of any anuragi Vaishnava, any eternal associate of Krishna whose heart is overflowing with prema for Krishna, to be under their guidance. In our case, those who have this Rupa Anuga Bhav, to be under their guidance. then everything else will automatically come. That is the essence of all advice. So, we must always seek the association of those who have prema bhakti for Bhagavan in their heart. Vritrasura's prayer, he was a demon, but he had been cursed by the consort of Mahadev. We told it the other day, to become a demon. Yet he was actually a great devotee. So as he's dying, he is praying. His head was being chopped off for an entire celestial year by Lord Indra with Indra's thunderbolt. After he was defeated, he was trying to finish him off. And at that time, as he's leaving his body, what is he doing? He's remembering Krishna and offering so many beautiful prayers. They are placed in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So, Sri Vritrasura in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 6:11-27 illustrates such a strong aspiration for this type of association. Mamotama shloka janeshu sakyam sangsara chakre brahmatasva karmabhi tvanmayayatmatma jadara gehe shvasakta chittasya nanata bhuyat. O Master, I do not want liberation. We hear it again and again and again. This is a theme of Vaishnava thought. I do not want liberation. I am not concerned if I must repeatedly roam about in this vicious cycle of birth and death as a result of my actions. But I pray that wherever I go and in whichever species I take birth, may I maintain loving friendships with your dear devotees who have prema bhakti for you. O Master, I pray that I will not have to maintain any relation with those who are subjected to your illusory potency and are therefore attached to their bodies, homes, wives, children, families, and others. Why? Because that association will take one's mind away from Krishna. One will not be Krishna conscious. It is not in terms of those who have those things in their life, but those who are attached to it all. This is an important point to understand. Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, go home. Don't be like a mad person. Be like normal in the world, but be in such a way where no one else can detect what is going on in your mind and heart. But within your mind and heart, always remember and serve Krishna. And when the time is right, Krishna will make all arrangements for you. And then he told him later, Brajay Radha Krishna, Manasa Seva Koribe, always within your mind, serve, in your heart, serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So this same theme we're hearing again and again. We hear it from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Śrī Satyavrata. We're hearing it from Śrī Satyavrata Muni in Damodarāṣṭakam. We're hearing it from Śrī Bhaktivedānta Thakur in this bhajan, Manasa Deho Geho Joki Chumor. Again and again, the devotees are saying, and even Nārāyaṇa himself is saying, even if I offer these liberations to my devotees, they don't want to accept them, especially Sayujya Mukti, merging liberation. They won't accept it. All they want is prem. They want to love the Lord. They don't want anything else. The desire for liberation. What does Rupa Goswami say in Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Bhukti mukti spriha javata pishachi. The desire for liberation or the desire for material enjoyment, this is like a witch which captures your mind, your intelligence, and ruins everything. It's like a ghost. Javata pishachi. This is the desire for it. Why? Because then you cannot endeavor for pure bhakti. Pure bhakti is devoid of any other desire. That anya abhilashita shunyam. Anya means any. A-N-Y-A. Any other. That's how I remember it. Any other. Abhilash means desire. Itta means and so forth. And shunyam means devoid of or without. Anyabhilashita shunyam. It is devoid of any other desire, including the desire for liberation. That is the jnana part of jnana karma adi. knowledge aimed at impersonal liberation. But even any other kind of desire, karma also means reward-seeking activity. Reward-seeking. So I'm doing bhakti for some reward. I'm going to serve you so that you can free me from my suffering or give me liberation. So the desire for mukti, or the desire for liberation, is not within the devotee's mindset. We see it again and again and again and again. It's re-emphasized everywhere. The devotee is saying, in whatever situation I may be, in any situation, whether it's in heaven or hell or any different species of life, whatever it is, let that be. But let me always have the association of your pure devotees. Let me always have devotion for you. Even if I have to take birds as an insect or a worm, let it be in the home of your devotee. I don't want any position or any power or any wealth or any money or anything. Nadhanam, najanam, nasundarim. Navayache rajyam nachakanakam manikya vibhavam nayacheham ramyam sakala janakamyam barabadhum. One after another, they're saying the same thing. I don't want any of these things. I don't want wealth and sense gratification and pratishta and name and fame and power and all of these things. I don't want Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta and Shri, high birth and wealth and education and bodily beauty and whatever I have to endure according to my karma, let me endure. But please always let me have the association of your pure devotees so that I can always hear your transcendental glories. Prahlad Mahārāja is praying this. Vritrasura is praying this. All of the devotees who have these prayers to the Lord, which are mentioned in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, are praying the same thing. They're praying like this, and now we're seeing it again. Vritrasura is telling this. That verse, Sonam, is Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Parjupasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. For one who surrenders unto me exclusively, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. But even this kind of prayer, to have it, that Krishna will preserve what I have and carry what I lack, to pray for that can be considered karma mishra bhakti. Devotee understands that Krishna does this, but they don't pray for that. They only pray for bhavatar bhaktira hoitikitvayi, causeless devotional service, birth after birth. So, a genuine sadhaka should aspire to have such intense greed, lobha. I've been meditating on this word lobha, or lolyam, greed. We use this word greed, but in our English language, I think the word obsession kind of hits home. It really hits the nail on the head, so to speak. That word obsession, it is non-stop, it is constant, and it is amplifying and increasing, becoming more. The intense, greedy desire, our word is obsession. So, a genuine practitioner of bhakti, sadhaka, should aspire to have such lobha, intense greed or obsession, to attain prema bhakti for Sri Bhagavan. This lobha can appear in anyone, in any stage of life. There's our hope right there. It can appear in anyone, in any stage of life. If raganuga bhakti, or spontaneous loving devotion, which is characterized by intense greed or obsession for Krishna bhakti, arises in someone's heart, he becomes worshipful for the whole world. Furthermore, by his prema bhakti, he even brings Sri Krishna, who is unconquerable, under his control. There's only like 2 sentences. Stane stita shrutikatam tanuban manobir ye pyaya So, jitais pyasitais trilokyam. That person who is otherwise unconquerable becomes conquered or under the control of the devotee who surrenders exclusively with love and affection to Krishna. So by his prema bhakti, he even brings Sri Krishna, who is unconquerable, under his control. Thus, Śrī Satyavrata Muni prays, O Master, you are bound by the rope of your mother's love. Please profusely bestow upon me prema bhakti for your form as Damodar, who is bound by his devotee. Thus ends the Digdarshini Vritti on the 7th verse. So, when we continue, we will start with the final verse with Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaye. Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Getting also mesmerized. Even though they're right here, I can get a very close-up view.
I later watch the darshans because I can see them up really close. It's not nice to get in their faces to try to...
Yeah, when you're like looking at them like that, it's not so nice for them. But when she puts the camera there, then we get to see them close up like all of you do too. So it's nice. So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga. Also, we'd like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. He told us that even when I'm no longer on this sphere, I want that you continue to travel and preach my mission to inspire my children on my behalf. So by giving us the opportunity to follow that order, you are saving our lives, so we cannot repay you for that. Also, just a reminder, pray for Nimai Sundar, the son of Krishnamai and Pani Bhushan Prabhu. He's going through a difficult time, and so are all of them, so please pray for them as well, that may Prema Bhakti manifest in all of their hearts.
And ours too.
And ours too, as quickly as possible.
Gurudev would say, generally when you pray for another person, it's not always so selfish, it's not about us. So those prayers ring more true. So if we can all have good moods and pray for each other, then our prayers may be heard more easily.
And also, I just want to remind you all again,
Virtual Parikrama.
Virtual Navadip Parikrama. The, what do they call it? Zumakrama?
The Zumakram.
Zumakram or Zumathon Parikrama. So we've posted a link there. You're welcome to also post another link, and we can then share that. We've definitely shared it within our daily program. So, okay.
Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Radhe Radhe
Radhe Radhe Jivadiyama Domani
Radha Vino Bihari Ju Ki
Jai
Sachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki Jai
Hasta mañana
Kal milenge
Radhe
Jai Shri Radhe Sham
Radhe
Hey Jamuna Radhe Radhe Radhe
Radhe Radhe